So now I'm going to talk about orbital mechanics and how it relates to going with the flow or the Tao. So there's mechanical energy, which is gravitational potential energy plus kinetic energy. And there's what's known as a prograde burn. So you're firing your engines of like the rocket, let's say, that's orbiting around Earth, into the direction you came from. This will increase your velocity or kinetic energy, but not your altitude or potential energy. And this inertia will cause your outward centrifugal force to be higher than gravity, with you falling further and further away. So, in this framework, where the influence or gravitational pull or warping of space time, that higher order, larger scale expressions of consciousness, along with our own experience of consciousness, for that matter, each of us, is directly proportional to our understanding of self. This prograde burn is us becoming more consciously aware of influences, be they larger scale orders of consciousness and archetypes, and subconscious patterns and habitual behaviors we have, like food or uh, coping mechanisms, whatever they may be. So the retrograde burn is the opposite. This is subtracting kinetic energy. This affects the opposite side of your orbit, bringing it closer. This is what happens when we have unintegrated patterns and are falling into their influence. And this isn't a bad thing, because you have to have this duality to actually grow. So there's also normal and anti-normal burns, which are perpendicular to your direction of motion. And these burns are heavy on fuel and are usually only used to avoid meeting other objects in an orbit. So this is the equivalent of when we meet people where they're at on a subconscious level, either ascending or descending to better see their point of view. For example, let's say there's a rocket and the International Space Station. With a prograde burn, you are firing your thrusters to get closer, meeting more kinetic energy. So increasing outward centrifugal force is pulling it away from Earth. So we are actually gaining altitude and potential energy. Then you lose kinetic energy at a higher altitude or a slower average speed, and this is falling further behind the International Space Station. So if we do a retrograde burn, we will lose kinetic energy with our potential staying the same, allowing us to reach the ISS at a subsequent orbit. We're not going to catch up to it immediately. This is like slowing down to speed up. You have to align with certain things. And the apogee and perigee represent the highest and lowest points of your orbit. So like peak spiritual experiences or baseline shadow states, just as mechanical energy conserves. So consciousness trades between this subconscious potential or stored patterns and conscious action, cycling between integration highs and lows until a stable orbit can occur. And this prograde burn is us like forcing spiritual practices and accumulating experiences or doing more. But if we actually slow down the rate of integration, like a retrograde burn, or this is us also doing less for more. So by striving for less, we're actually speeding up the process of integrating the subconscious and the conscious awareness, even if this decreases in the short term.